Yesterday I told you how self is more important than anything else at the present state of human awareness. When you are at the human awareness, first thing that should happen to you is to feel yourself. As Sri Krishna has said, Atmane Atmane Tushtaha. Unless and until you reach your Atma, your spirit, you are not going to get the satisfaction of achieving anything. Because Kundalini, which you see here, seated in the triangular bone, which we call as the sacrum, that means Greek knew about it. Greek knew about the sacrum bone. Otherwise they would not have called it a sacrum, means sacred. Even when I went to Athens, I was surprised that Athena, the word Atha, comes from Sanskrit, means primordial. And she had a snake-like thing in her hand with all the chakras. So the Greeks knew about it. And when I talked to them, they told me that it is a fact that Indians came much before Alexander. We had rapport with Indians much before Alexander. And they told us about the primordial mother and her three powers. It is very amazing how they knew all about it. And then it all got lost because of the extroversion, moving out from reality. For example, somebody wants to do something. He does it, but he doesn't get any satisfaction out of it. The only way you can get satisfaction is that you become one with the divine. And this power of desire, which is a pure desire, is residing in each and everybody's triangular bone. But we are lost. We are seeking our pleasures, our joys into wrong things. We think that by doing this or by doing that, by buying this or becoming that, we'll be completely, fully satisfied, which we ultimately discover. In an evolutionary state, such people, when they discover that the joy is not in all these things, there is no happiness in this kind of thing. We have to go beyond this. Once they discover this, then they become a special category of people. And these special category of people are the seekers. Of course, today I find so many seekers are lost. Especially in America, they are lost in various ways. We would say in all the cults or in all other things like drugs or homosexuality or whatever you may call it. They are lost into these, into violence. Many are indulging into violence or doing all kinds of things which are not for their ascent but are degrading and will take them down, not to their seeking but to their hell. But it is happening today. You can see it very clearly. It is happening because human beings do not understand that human awareness is a transitory phase. You have to go beyond it. And that beyond stage, the stage we have to reach, is the stage of yourself. To begin with, you have to become, first of all, self-realized, meaning you are to be born again. And to be born again, you have to allow the Kundalini to work it out. So, what do we do? As people said, I told you yesterday, it is effortless, it is without any money. It just happens spontaneously. Even there are people like the President of India, we can say the President of the High Court Judge of the Hague High Court, which is the World High Court, the President of that, he's got his realization and he's a Sahaja. So we have people of that caliber who are Sahajogis and who have felt the vibrations, who have become self-realized. But they are very humble people, extremely humble people. Indians are basically humble and they know who is a saint and who is not a saint. They are so sensitive that they know who is a saint, who is not a saint. But in the West, as we have now lost our power to feel the saintliness in a person, we do not know who is a saint, who is not a saint. So the first thing that has to happen to you to understand who is a saint, who is not a saint, is first to get your realization. Without the spirit expressing itself into your awareness, into your attention, you cannot make out who is a saint or who is not a saint. In the same way, it has happened in every century. Any time any incarnation came, people did not want to accept. Not in India. I would say Indians are much more sensitive to spirituality because they are not so materialistic. They understand, because we have been for ages seeking and seeking from traditionally, so we know what this seeking is, what it means. For me, it's not difficult to talk to them about Kundalini. There I start on a different level altogether, because they know everything, whatever I'm talking, they know already what it is. Maybe not in the cities where the people are westernized, but they know. But for other people, I have to start it from A to Z. So this is the Kundalini we have got in 3.5 coils, and it has a mathematical calculation. Now, it's only Indians and the Buddhists, from Indians, I would say, believed in the non-being. They believe there's a non-being, being and non-being. What is that state of non-being? When you become the non-being, means when you go beyond your conditioning and ego, then you become the non-being. And once you become the non-being, then nothing can touch you. As I told you yesterday, who are standing in the water have fear of getting drowned in the water. But if you go to the boat, then you start seeing that the water is down below, it is not going to touch you. That state has to be achieved, is a non-being, is the fourth dimension within us. This is called also in Sanskrit as Turiya Dasha. Now you might say, why in India these people discovered all that? See now, the reason is India is a very ancient country. And there we didn't have these problems that you had to face when you came to America. You had to face the nature to begin with. Our nature is very kind. We can live under a tree, eat the fruits of the forest, and can enjoy ourselves. We don't need much in that country to cover ourselves or to have any elaboration. So the attention has been always inside to find out, why are we here? What are we doing here? Are we wasting our life? Are we doing any harm to ourselves or to others? Is it all right to exist as human beings, or is there anything beyond? This search has been there for thousands and thousands of years, and because of this seeking, they have been able to reach right conclusions that there is this Kundalini within us, and this Kundalini is to be awakened. And if she is awakened, then you can become self very easily. And this was the job I had to do. For that, I had to work very hard for days together to understand what was the problem with human beings, the permutations and combinations of problems that they had. And somehow I managed it. I think now our mass realization is possible. Yesterday, despite some people being mischievous, you did get realization. This is God's work, and God's work will go on. Whether some people come and trouble you makes no difference. They are just like mosquitoes. They come and go away. Has no meaning at all. Because, you see, God's work is much greater than what they think of themselves. So it doesn't matter what happens or what people say or talk. The God's work will go on. But you must know it's a living work. It is not a plastic thing. You can produce thousands of plastic flowers very easily, but you cannot produce one single living flower. So when this living force has to act, it takes time. And it will take time, gradually it will grow, and you will be surprised that gradually it grows so beautifully that suddenly you find lots of people coming up and becoming. Because in Sahaja Yoga, what you become is important. It's the actualization. It is not some certificate or some organization that you belong to some organization or there is some certificate. But it is what you become. Your becoming is important. If you cannot become something, then you are no good in Sahaja Yoga. Many people who come to us, we find they improve a lot and they become very great also. But some people do not. They just waste it. Energy is all wasted, whatever you may try, they do not. Sometimes they are so conditioned that we cannot improve them. There we feel helpless about them because they do not want to cooperate also. And also they have many pressures on them. But 90% people go up very well and they manifest whatever they have achieved. Now the Main thing is to understand that this mechanism exists within us. This energy exists within us. Now this is like a hypothesis for you. We need not accept it. It's an hypothesis, as one would put to a scientist. But scientists must have an open mind. They shouldn't have a closed mind. If they have a barrier, you cannot put anything before them. If they are scientists, they will have an open mind to listen to my hypothesis. And if it could be proved, then you have to accept it. If it is done proved, then you can say that, all right, that's not proved so far, all right. So you have to wait and have patience with it. This is what it is in simple words, that it cannot be forced on you. It cannot be humble before you. You have to ask for it. Nobody can force you that you can become. I cannot guarantee. Yesterday I said, it's a fact. But still so many people got their realization, felt the cool breeze, and felt the cool breeze out of their head. This you cannot do otherwise. All other things you can do, but this you cannot do, is to take out cool breeze out of your head, which is a factual thing and experience. But as I told you, that we live mentally much more than we live with reality. And mental projections can be anything, like a person who murders someone. He has justification, I murdered someone because of this and this. But that justification does not allow you to get out of law, does it? No. You will be caught in the law. You cannot do it. Whatever is wrong, you are not supposed to do it. But that is human law. In the same way, there is God's laws. And if we go against God's laws, then what happens? That we are punished.